Freemasonry practices real toleration. We accept men of all faiths.
Nowadays, gold is associated with jewelry that we have seen in most of the rappers' gold chains so heavy. But most of us don't know that gold was actually used as currency in the past history. But during the 1930s, the US government seized every US citizen's gold and banned them from purchasing gold until the 1970s. Let's take a look at its order that was made by the government. It says, under executive order of the President, issued April 5, 1933, all persons are required to deliver on or before May 1, 1933, all gold coin, gold bullion, and gold certificates now owned by them, Federal Reserve Bank, branch or agency, or to any member bank of the Federal Reserve System. Hope you guys join me in this episode until the end so as to unveil the truth. Before paper money that we used today exist, people used to use gold just like we use printed paper money. People make every purchases by the help of the gold coins. The government eventually offered paper bills that represented gold, offering a simple way for the people to carry around their golds. Their paper bills are backed by gold, and the United States government spread it out, and almost all countries used the gold standard. Let me give you a hint about the classical gold standard from 1875 till 1914. The exchange rate between two countries' currencies would be determined by their relative gold contents. If the dollar is pegged to gold at the US $30, which is equivalent to 1 ounce of gold, and the British pound is pegged to gold at 6 pounds, which is equivalent with 1 ounce of gold, then $30 shall be equal with 6 pounds of Britain, which means $5 is equivalent with 1 pound of Britain. In the year 1913, the US Congress established a Federal Reserve, which created a central banking system. This system was created to manipulate and control all the national money supply. In other words, to control welfare money and how much it would have been printed. The government introduced this to the world and made a promise that it would balance the situation that was being made by the gold standard. 20 years later, the government issued an executive order imposing the whole US citizens to sell their golds to the government below the market price. The US government was then raised the rate of gold and then created the Gold Reserve Act during the 1934. Before proceeding to the Reserve Act, let's take a glance over the government's decision. On April 5, 1933, Roosevelt issued Executive Order 6102 forbidding the hoarding of gold coin, gold bullion, and gold certificates within the continental United States. The order required individuals, business, and banks to deliver their gold and gold certificates to the Federal Reserve in exchange for $20.67. This made the trade and the possession of gold of more than $100 a criminal offense. This in effect suspended the gold standard that the US followed since 80s. Now let us go back to the Gold Reserve Act of the 1934 by Rickardson, cited by 18. The program, which began in 1933, first restricted the private use of gold, requiring business like the Columbus firm to apply to the Fed for gold bars. This keeps the owner of the gold to be the United States Treasury. Later in 1933, the government announced there will no longer be using the gold standard and solely going to be relying on the Federal Reserve by telling the people this will allow the government to print more money that was needed for World War I. This is basically a summary that we are told that the US dollar took gold's place, but the truth is much more further than this. Now it's the right time to uncover the truth. Follow me till the end of this video.
Freemasons are involved in to take over the world. It's just simply coming from people who need an enemy, and Freemasons have had a history of not responding to a lot of these attacks, and in today's world you just can't do that, so we respond now.
The truth is, the government planned to replace gold with paper money since before the government was even got into power. Stripping citizens of their gold and replacing it with US dollar was the heavy step of the Freemasons' plan for a new world order.
One of the part of their plans for the new world order was to create their own one world currency that was controlled by Masonic order. This is what the US dollar represents. Although every country has its own currency system, the US dollar is accepted by every country by considering it as the world's reserve currency. The US dollar is very close to the Masonic currency they need for their new world order. Bitcoin is even closer than this. The Freemasons wanted to strict gold from us for two main reasons. One, gold is considered as the gold's currency. You can trace back King Haile Selassie's history for more. And the second reason is they can manipulate how much money is printed and how much of it is going to be worn. These secret societies knew in order to get people to agree with their new world order, they have to be well controlled. And this is how they do it. The secret societies put their symbols all over the dollar bill to remind people who is truly running this country. The government took away people's gold and instead gave them paper money, cause the government is controlled by the Freemasons. Now gold is remained as a jewelry, and most of people that own gold these days own a gold jewelry. Even if you have a 24K, it is still not pure gold, rather a combination of other metals. Gold fluctuates going up and down price, but most commonly it slowly rises up. Gold jewelries, on the other hand, is not the same as gold bars. This jewelry rarely comes as 24K, but usually comes as 10 karat, 14 karat, or 18 karat. So if a person decides to sell its gold to a shop, the shop will not pay for full value of gold because of two reasons. One, the jewelry is most likely not made of 100% gold. And second, shop buy gold from people at the scrap gold price, which is much lower than the true value of gold. The Masons' plan for a new world order is getting much closer than you think. They are taking many steps to ensure people don't know what is truly going on. I believe there is a reason God created gold the way as it is. Gold is lustrous and beautiful, and it doesn't tarnish, so as it forever keeps its value. The Freemasons couldn't control its value. That is the reason why they had to find the way to remove it from us. Gold will always be protected by God, and I feel safer to invest my money on gold bars instead of accumulating paper bills. We must remember that these hidden societies will not stop from taking further steps until they create a new world order and one government system. We shall put our eyes and heads open to not accept the propagandas, media news, theorems, and educational courses as they are. We must uncover the truth. Hope you guys enjoyed by this episode, and if you want more interesting videos like this, I think it's the right time to get subscribed and hit the notification bell today. Thank you for watching.